everyone, and welcome to the Speakers Bank podcast, Our Voices, Our Views. I am the coordinator of Speakers Bank program. My name is Mimi Laurelia, and today I'm with one of our work placement students that have finished with the program, and I'm very lucky that he was able to accept our invitation to be with us today. Joel Casemore, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Mimi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel, for accepting our invite to have a chat with the Speakers Bank podcast today. The topic is around catching up with you in terms of your work placement experience. And I just wanted to get a bit more insight in terms of what you learned, what you've done. So let's start by getting to know you a little bit more. Who is Joel, and what's your first intention why you entered the placement at that time that you did it with us?
Well, initially, being a community service student, initially my plan was always that I wanted to work in AOD or mental health kind of sector, but the opportunity arose to come and work with you, and I was really very grateful in the end that I made that decision, simply because I had no intention or no thoughts whatsoever about working in disability, and what I learned through the placement, and more importantly, I suppose what I enjoyed, was the face-to-face interaction between some of your clients. And I'm now kind of generally and seriously thinking that I would like to possibly work in that sector it's been a wonderful things come out of it.
Yeah. So before you went to Speakers Bank, because of the opportunity, you probably have seen an advert in the Vic Uni placement website, if that's where you get your information from. What made you think to take a course in Diploma of Community Services? What made you shift to that or focus on that sector?
Well, my journey came out of some personal experiences I've had during my life. And originally, before I did the diploma, I studied a Cert 4 in AOD, but then decided to do the diploma to simply broaden my job prospects and learn about family violence issues, a little bit about disability, I suppose the community service sector as a whole, rather than just one part of it. So it was looking kind of broadening my horizons, really.
That's right. So some people think that by choosing to go a certain path, they're kind of locking in themselves to that path. But you are it's nice to see and hear you say that you want to broaden your knowledge base and your experience, because it gives you better opportunities in terms of job prospects. So at the time that you started with your you met me for the first time, and I've told you what you need to do or what placement would look like with me. What were your thoughts then? If you would recall the first time, were you scared? Were you unsure? Were you feeling, lack of confidence, or were you just excited to absorb anything and everything that's thrown at you?
Well, I was definitely excited, but I have to say I was a little bit scared at first. I suppose, I'm coming from this is a midlife career change for me. So everything I'm coming across is completely new. And, my confidence kind of wavers at times. And I'm very grateful that for my first placement, I had the opportunity to do it with 2 other students, and I think that was a big help for me. So we could, feed off each other and generally support each other. So that made things a lot easier. And yeah, so that was a good thing.
Yeah. So at first you thought maybe that the placement is more like a one-on-one thing, and then this is the common observation that students give me, is that working in groups is kind of like a different ball game altogether. But in real life, you don't really work solo. You always work in a group setting. So
Yeah.
did you feel that you were an odd one out because you had been in the company of 2 ladies? They might dominate with their ideas and you just tag along, or did you feel that you also had to assert yourself along the way?
Yeah, I've always had a lot of, I once studied a fine art degree, and there it was all women as well.
Right.
So that wasn't really an issue. I wanted to just make sure, I think I've always been a bit of a team player with the past work I used to do. So I was happy being, just being a member of that group, and we could each bring different skills to the situation. So, and I think in that regard, it worked out a lot better. I mean, Leanne, she's very good at the kind of more academic writing of plans, if you like, where I think my skills are more suited to one-on-one conversations with the clients and building that kind of rapport with them, and so I think it worked well in the end.
Yeah, that's good. I found that your group really worked well, and that was a bonus, because it's not all the time when you put people in a group that things go well. Sometimes it's a disaster, but in your case, lucky for all of you that things worked perfectly. But in terms of the skills, Joel, what can you tell me about some of the things that you learned along the placement that you feel very lucky to have gained? Whether or not it's a deliberate learning goal for you, or whether it was something that just came up. What sort of skills did you think you learned from the placement?
Well, first, I suppose a little insight into general admin procedures around the office, and protocols in regards to emailing people, and the correct language to use, and phoning people and whatnot. But then I suppose just learning about being able to engage with your clients on a one-to-one level, and not I think in the past there's maybe been a danger of articulating to clients with disabilities in a way that they're alien or something, but I was really conscious of just talking to them the way I'm talking to you now, and to think of them and to remember that they're human beings, and they need to be shown respect and understanding, and despite what they're just as worthy as respect as that's. And I mean, look, I'm not saying I didn't have views before, because I did, but I hadn't had the opportunity to put that work into.
Yeah, so that means communication is one of the key things that you kind of learned as you have managed to interact with them in in
Yeah.
various ways and supported them in various ways. What sort of
Yes.
changed in terms of your view of the disability and the aging sector in general as a result of going through the placement? What sort of discoveries or realizations have you, reflected upon?
I suppose for one, the amount of inequalities that are out there within the general public, um, and the fact that services like yours are possibly underfunded, and you work very hard to do what you do. And if there was a little bit more funding, maybe the services you offer could be extended to a wider audience.
Yeah.
But I think just the importance that the work Speakers Bank do and Enecto as a whole needs to be promoted more and more in general society, I think. Yeah.
So I've managed to convert you, and you're one of my disciples now, that you will be advocating on our behalf now.
Yes.
When you go out and do your future career. So now that you've finished the placement and you are looking for opportunities to be in this space, are you feeling more confident now as a result of your experiences and the skills that you gained to work in this new sector? Because you said it's a shift in your focus now in your career choice. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm definitely feeling a lot more confident than I was this time last year. Of course, because of the virus, we're not sure what's actually happening with placements this year. But I'm just about to start, hopefully in a few weeks, a volunteer role at Uniting that I spoke to you about not long ago. And I think the confidence that I gained from working with you has, pushed me to do that, and in order to learn new things and just I have the time, so I thought, well, why not try, and hopefully it'll be good experience and something I can add to my CV. So yeah, doing the first placements give me a lot more confidence going.
That's great. And I'm
future.
really, really happy that you're always what do you call that? You have more courage now to give it a go.
Yeah.
You're volunteering with Uniting, and you wanted to do a lot of what do you call that? More experience, because you never know. Everything that you do will be definitely giving you strength to strength, and keep you
I hope so.
Knowledgeable about the sector in general. It's not just the typical theoretical CV that everyone looks at, but I like CVs that have a breadth of experiences that showcase what kind of work that you can do in the sector. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more successes from you, Joel. But
thank you.
As you know, with any podcast episode, there's only a time limit that we have interacting with one another. So can you give the audience members any last few words about your experiences, or something about work placement, and anything you'd like to say to them before we end the show?
Yeah, I'd just like to say again, that the course that I'm studying is so theory based that sometimes it's it's a little bit frustrating. And the reason placements is so important is because it allowed me to take my learning, my theories, and use them in the real world, and that was that really is the gold that comes out of placement. And I was very grateful that I had the chance to do it in a situation that's quite a small setup, and so that therefore it was more hands-on. And I think I would have I learned a lot because of that. So
so there are still some benefits to having some practical experience to complement and supplement the theoretical bits that you learned in uni. So, Joel, thank you very much for your time today, and I hope that we'll see more of you. If you would still like to continue helping us, I'm more
For
than happy
sure.
to take
Yeah.
you. Obviously, I need a team to keep the wheels turning. It's not just a
Yep.
single person's job to make a difference. It takes a community to make a difference
Yes.
to the world. So anything contributions that you guys can offer me, I'm always happy to welcome you with open arms. So thank you,
Yep.
Joel, and we'll wave goodbye to our listeners and our viewers today. And I
You're
see,
welcome.
yep, we hope to see them in future episodes. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.